Welcome to the world of sci-fi stories, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Enjoy the listening. Galactic Council mocked Earth's beasts. Then humans unleashed the ultimate predator. The grand chamber of the Galactic Alliance sparkled with the blue-green light of 1,000 stars projected onto its crystalline dome. Representatives from 300 worlds sat in tiered rings, their diverse anatomies accommodated by customized seating arrangements. At the center of the chamber stood a small delegation of humans, looking remarkably plain compared to the array of tentacles, wings, and iridescent exoskeletons surrounding them. Arch-Chancellor Six, a towering insectoid with compound eyes that reflected the starlight in fractured patterns, tapped a ceremonial staff against the obsidian floor. The chamber fell silent. Delegates of Earth, Kitix's voice resonated through translators across the chamber. We have reviewed your petition for full Alliance membership and find your application lacking. The final word was delivered with unmistakable condescension. Commander Maya Okafor, head of the Earth delegation, remained impassive. At 52, with silver streaking her close-cropped black hair, she carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who had faced worse than alien bureaucracy. With respect, Arch-Chancellor, she replied, perhaps our contributions have been underestimated. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Alliance had been monitoring Earth for centuries before making official contact. Humans were considered a curiosity, resourceful but fragile, intelligent but fractious, and woefully unprepared for the realities of interstellar politics. Your species has only achieved faster-than-light travel in the last decade, remarked Delegate Thix of the Valan Confederacy, her serpentine neck coiling with amusement. What could Earth possibly offer that the Alliance does not already possess in abundance? Okafor exchanged glances with her scientific advisor, Dr. Haruki Tanaka, who gave a subtle nod. We offer something unique. Biological innovation, Okafor said. While other species focus on mechanical and energy weapons, Earth has developed biotechnology that augments our natural abilities. Augments, scoffed Defense Minister Zor, a massive reptilian whose scaled hide bore the ceremonial scars of 100 battles. We've studied your planet's apex predators, your tigers, bears, sharks, none compared to the war beasts of Malaf or the venom wielders of Strix Prime. Okafor smiled. Our most formidable predator isn't what you might expect. At her signal, Dr. Tanaka activated a holographic display. Above the delegation appeared a small, stocky creature with distinctive black and white markings. This, Okafor announced, is Mellivora capensis, the honey badger. Laughter erupted across the chamber. Even the normally stoic Tixix's mandibles clicked in what translated as amusement. This small mammal? Zorn's voice boomed. It could fit in my food pouch. Size can be deceiving, Tanaka interjected, adjusting his glasses. The honey badger possesses a unique combination of traits. Thick, loose skin nearly impervious to punctures and stings, exceptional jaw strength, remarkable immunity to toxins, and a neurological system that allows it to fight through injuries that would incapacitate creatures 10 times its size. Most importantly, Okafor continued, it demonstrates what we call proportional ferocity, aggression that scales inversely with its size, making it fearless against any threat. Fascinating zoology lesson, Commander, Kik said dismissively. But how does this relate to Alliance military concerns? Okafor's expression remained unreadable. We've developed the Rattle Protocol, named after the honey badger's scientific classification. It's a biological and neurological enhancement system that temporarily grants humans these same attributes. The chamber grew quiet as the implication sank in. Impossible, stated the Valan delegate flatly. Such adaptations would require fundamental genetic restructuring. Not genetic, corrected Tanaka. Epigenetic, with temporary expression activated through targeted nanomechanical mediators. The changes last approximately 72 hours before reverting naturally. Zor leaned forward, skepticism mingling with the first hints of genuine interest. You claim your soldiers can become immune to toxins and fight through mortal wounds. We request the opportunity to demonstrate, Okafor replied simply. The Defense Council, comprised of the Alliance's most experienced military minds, convened in a massive observation deck overlooking the combat arena designed to test new weapon systems. Below, a single human stood in the center of the reinforced durasteel floor. Lieutenant James Kai, 34, compact and unassuming in standard Earth tactical gear, looked almost comically small against the backdrop designed for testing starship-grade weaponry. This is highly irregular, protested Security Chief Alra, her crystalline form shimmering with agitation. One soldier against combat mechanoids. This will be a slaughter. We appreciate your concern, Okafor replied calmly. Lieutenant Kai has volunteered specifically for this demonstration. Arch-Chancellor Six gestured impatiently. Proceed then. 3 Sentinel-class combat units should provide adequate demonstration. From 3 points around the arena, massive doors slid open. Sentinel units, each standing 4 meters tall, armed with pulse cannons and VI blades, stepped into the arena. These mechanized combat platforms had decimated entire planetary defense forces during the Relian incursion. Below, Lieutenant Kai removed the small injector from his tactical vest and pressed it against his neck. The sound of his voice came through the observation deck's audio system. Initiating rattle protocol now. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then Kai's posture changed subtly, a slight forward hunch, a widening of his stance. When he looked up at the approaching sentinels, his eyes had taken on a strange, focused intensity. Vital signs indicate elevated adrenal response, reported the medical monitor. Cardiovascular efficiency increased by 340%, muscle density increases, neurological pain receptors dampening. The first sentinel attacked with blinding speed, its vibroblade slashing toward Kai with enough force to cleave a ground vehicle in half. The human didn't dodge, he moved forward into the attack. The blade connected with his shoulder, slicing through his tactical gear. Blood sprayed, and gasps erupted from the observation deck. But Kai didn't fall. He didn't even flinch. Instead, he grabbed the sentinel's arm joint with both hands and wrenched with such force that the reinforced alloy crumpled like foil. The sound of tearing metal echoed through the arena. Impossible, whispered Zorn. That joint is rated for 16 tons of pressure. The second sentinel fired its pulse cannon. The energy blast caught Kai square in the back, burning through his gear and exposing charred flesh. Any normal being would have collapsed in agony. Kai turned, expression unchanged, and charged directly at the sentinel that had shot him. His pain receptors should be overloaded, Val said, her crystalline form vibrating in disbelief. How is he still conscious, let alone fighting? Honey Badger don't care, Okafor said softly, invoking the ancient Earth meme. That's what we learned from them. What followed defied explanation. Kai moved with impossible ferocity, attacking the second sentinel with reckless abandon. His bare hands tore through metal plating designed to withstand artillery fire, when the third sentinel joined the fray, landing what should have been a killing blow to Kai's ribcage. The lieutenant absorbed the impact, spat blood, and continued fighting without pause. Within 6 minutes, all 3 sentinels lay in pieces. Kai stood amid the wreckage, bleeding from multiple wounds but still alert, still ready. His tactical gear hung in tatters, revealing skin that seemed to be already healing before their eyes. The rattle protocol temporarily rewrites human physiological responses, Dr. Tanaka explained into the stunned silence. It creates a controlled version of what we call honey badger mindset, complete fearlessness combined with overwhelming aggression, tactical intelligence, and biological resilience. You've weaponized recklessness, observed Zorn, his earlier derision replaced with something approaching respect. We prefer adaptive persistence, Okafor corrected. Earth evolved some of the most determined predators in the galaxy. But more importantly, we learned from them. Fix's compound eyes fixed on Okafor. How many soldiers can undergo this protocol? Currently, 10,000 with capacity to train and equip 50,000 within a standard year. Okafor's expression remained neutral. Of course, that's if the Alliance finds our contribution significant enough for membership. As the demonstration concluded, the Defense Council withdrew to deliberate. Tanaka administered a counteragent to Kai, whose aggressive posture gradually relaxed as he was escorted to medical facilities. They still might refuse us, Tanaka murmured to Okafor as they waited. Okafor watched the stars rotating slowly above the chamber. They might, she agreed, but they won't forget us. 3 hours later, the council reconvened. Arch-Chancellor Six seemed somehow diminish, his earlier condescension replaced by a wary respect. The Defense Council has reached a determination, he announced. Earth's petition for Alliance membership is provisionally accepted, pending final approval from the General Assembly. A wave of murmurs swept through the chamber. However, Kitix continued, we have one condition, a trial period during which Earth forces will be deployed alongside Alliance units in border security operations. Standard procedure for new members, Zorn added quickly, though everyone present knew it was anything but standard. Okafor inclined her head. Earth accepts these terms with gratitude. As the Earth delegation departed, Valra approached Okafor privately. You understand what's happening, don't you? The crystalline being asked, her voice low. They're afraid of you now. Okafor smiled thinly. Good. Fear is a natural first step toward respect. What no one in the Alliance yet realized was that the honey badger was just one of Earth's lessons. The octopus, the tardigrade, the bombardier beetle, each had taught humanity something unique, something that would soon reshape the very nature of galactic warfare. And the first test would come sooner than anyone expected. The swarm incursion. 3 months after Earth's provisional acceptance into the Alliance, the Nexus swarm struck. They came without warning, without declaration, a horde of biomechanical entities that moved with hive mind precision. Their attack focused on the perimeter stations of the Orion Arm, critical defensive outposts that protected dozens of inhabited systems. Station Epsilon, the largest of these outposts, fell in less than 6 hours. Station Gamma followed shortly after. By the time the Alliance Council convened an emergency session, 3 more stations were under heavy assault. In the Grand Chamber, panic had replaced the usual measured deliberation. Tactical displays showed the swarm's advance through Alliance territory, a creeping darkness that consumed everything in its path. The 7th Fleet has been completely overrun, reported Admiral Vex, his holographic image flickering as communication struggled to maintain stability. The swarm adapts to our weapon systems faster than we can deploy countermeasures. Arch-Chancellor Six's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme distress. What of the Valen energy cannons? The Strix-Spavens? Ineffective after initial deployment, Vex replied grimly. The swarm simply evolves. Defense Minister Zor slammed a scaled fist against the tactical display. We need time to evacuate the border worlds. The fleets can't hold the line long enough. From the Earth delegation's position, now elevated to reflect their provisional membership, Commander Okafor stepped forward. Earth requests permission to deploy our rectal units to Station Delta. The chamber fell silent. Station Delta was the next logical target for the swarm, and the last defensive position before the heavily populated Centauri systems. 1 battalion? Zorn asked incredulously. Against a force that has already destroyed 3 fleets. The Rattle Protocol was designed for exactly this scenario, Okafor replied calmly. Overwhelming odds against an adaptable enemy. Kixix and the Council exchanged glances. They had little choice. Granted, Kixix declared. But understand this, Commander. If Delta falls, 2 billion lives on Proxima Centauri will be directly threatened. Okafor nodded solemnly. We understand the stakes, Arch-Chancellor. 12 hours later, 3 transport ships entered Delta Station's docking bay. From them emerged 200 human soldiers, each already showing the physical signs of the active Rattle Protocol. The slightly hunched posture, the focused gaze, the deliberate movements. Leading them was Lieutenant James Kai, fully recovered from his demonstration wounds, his eyes now possessing that same strange intensity. Each soldier wore lightweight tactical gear marked with diagonal white stripes against black, the honey badger colors adopted as their insignia. Station Commander Telex, a veteran of 3 interstellar conflicts, looked at the human force with open skepticism. 200, the swarm sends thousands. Kai's voice was calm but held an undercurrent of something primal. Numbers aren't everything, Commander. You've never seen humans fight like this. Swarm vessels detected, announced the station's AI. Estimated time to contact, 17 minutes. We'll handle the external platforms, Kai stated. Your forces should focus on internal defense. Telex bristled. Those platforms are exposed to vacuum if the shields fail. No organic being can. We can, Kai interrupted. Trust me. The first wave of the swarm arrived exactly as predicted. Biomechanical entities ranging from small infiltration units to massive breacher constructs. They attacked in perfect coordination, targeting the station's shield generators and weapon emplacements. What they didn't expect were the human defenders waiting on the external platforms. The Rattle soldiers fought with a ferocity that shocked even their Alliance allies viewing through security feeds. When swarm units breached the platform shields, exposing sections to vacuum, the humans simply held their breath and continued fighting, the protocol allowing them to function without oxygen for nearly 8 minutes. When a swarm breacher severed a human soldier's arm, she cauterized the wound herself using a hot metal shard and continued combat with her remaining arm. When toxin-spewing swarm infiltrators flooded sections with neural paralyzers, the rattle soldiers pushed through the effects, their altered biology processing and neutralizing the compounds. Honey Badger don't care became the grim mantra transmitted between the human units. In the station's command center, Tilix watched in stunned silence as the tide began to turn. They're winning, he whispered in disbelief. How are they winning? The battle for Station Delta raged for 22 hours, the swarm encountering a defense unlike any it had faced before. It committed more and more resources to the attack, and with each wave the human defenders adapted, learning the swarm's tactics, anticipating its evolving weapons, finding new ways to exploit weaknesses. By the 23rd hour, the swarm vessels began to retreat, not in coordination but in disarray, something never before witnessed in their attacks. Of the 200 human soldiers deployed to Delta, 117 survived. Many bore injuries that would have killed any other species, yet they remained standing, remained fighting until the last swarm unit was destroyed or driven off. In the aftermath, as Alliance medical teams rushed to treat the wounded humans, something unprecedented occurred. The swarm did not regroup for another attack. Instead, their remaining vessels altered course, bypassing Alliance territory entirely. 3 days later, Commander Okafor stood again before the full Galactic Council. This time there was no condescension in Six's posture, no dismissive glances from the assembled delegates. The Council has reviewed the defensive action at Station Delta, Six announced formally. We find Earth's contribution to be significant. A massive understatement, but Okafor simply nodded in acknowledgement. Analysis suggests the swarm retreated not just from Delta, but from all Alliance territory, continued Valra, her crystalline form glowing with barely contained excitement. They encountered something they couldn't adapt to, your rattle soldiers. The swarm operates on predictive algorithms, explained Dr. Tanaka, now standing beside Okafor. Their entire strategy depends on being able to anticipate responses and evolve countermeasures. But the honey badger mindset is fundamentally unpredictable. It bypasses normal survival instincts, normal pain responses, normal tactical calculations. You confuse their hive mind, Zor stated, newfound respect evident in his voice. We did more than confuse it, Okafor corrected. We frightened it. The implications hung in the air. The hive intelligence capable of coordinating attacks across multiple star systems had retreated from a force it couldn't comprehend, couldn't predict. The General Assembly has voted, Six announced. Earth's petition for full Alliance membership is unanimously approved, with all rights and privileges thereof. Applause rippled through the chamber, growing in intensity until it became a thunderous acknowledgement. As the formal proceedings concluded, Zor approached Okafor privately. You said the honey badger was just one of Earth's lessons. The massive reptilian rumbled. What else have you learned from your world's creatures? Okafor smiled enigmatically. Minister Zorn, we've barely begun to show you what humanity can do. The octopus taught us adaptive camouflage. The bombardier beetle inspired our new propulsion systems. The tardigrade offered lessons in surviving extreme environments. She glanced toward the chamber's massive viewport, where Earth was now visible as a small blue dot among the stars. For thousands of years, we shared our planet with the greatest teachers in the galaxy. We just needed to start paying attention. 3 weeks later, as Alliance scientists pored over data from the swarm encounter, strange reports began filtering in from border outposts. The swarm vessels had altered their usual migration patterns, now giving Alliance space a wide berth. Intercepted communications, if they could be called that, contained a new symbol repeated throughout their quantum transmissions. When finally decoded, the symbol translated roughly to a single concept: beware the black and white ones. 6 months after that, when a previously unknown species attempted to raid a human colony world, they encountered not just rattle protocol soldiers, but troops displaying entirely new adaptations. Some with skin that changed color and texture like an octopus, others who could generate localized electric fields like electric eels, still others who demonstrated the regenerative capabilities of axolotls. The raid was short-lived, and word spread quickly throughout the sector. Earth might be new to the stars, but its defenders had been evolving for millions of years, learning from every creature that called their world home. As Okafor had predicted, the galaxy's initial fear of humanity gradually transformed into something else, a deep respect for a species that hadn't conquered nature on their world, but had instead become its most dedicated students. And somewhere on Earth, oblivious to their galactic fame, honey badgers continued doing what they had always done, facing each day with unmatched determination, complete fearlessness, and the simple, profound wisdom that sometimes the most powerful response to any threat was simply not to care about the odds.